Welcome to Anchor Conversations, week number 4. We are covering 1 Corinthians 13 and 4. And it reads, Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. And looking at each one of these, I was like, man, that each phrase could be like its own me when we were just studying and talking through it. And so we told you we use the KJV because it's easiest to translate back to the original language. And so that word charity means love, benevolence, goodwill, the highest selfless sacrificial form of love. Like when Jesus says, for God so loved the world. That word love is agape. It was that expression of his selfless love, how he gave himself for it. And so when we look at the depiction of love and the description and definition of what love is, and I could even say who love is, because the scripture says God is love. I can't think of the address off the top of my head. So we think about who it is and what it is. It's love. It is selfless. It's sacrificial. And we know that by the greatest price, that Jesus died for us. So it says it suffers long. And that means to be patient, to endure without retaliation, to be long-tempered or slow to anger. And so when you think about long suffering, how long is long? Baby, it's long.
How patient is patient?
Right?
I have an answer to that, by the way. I'll wait to share. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I ask you, how patient is patience? There is a specific amount of time that it takes for you to actually be deemed as patient. Anyone want to take a stab at it? I guess.
Well,
everybody looks confused, and that's okay. Because it's not until it's done.
That is okay.
You cannot say you've been patient until the time has actually been done. If you're 2 weeks into it and you say, well, I've been patient, I've been waiting 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not that long if it's a 20-year kind of sentence. I'm saying that because some things take a long time.
That's right.
It's once it's actually complete, that's when you can actually say, I was patient for this duration of time, whatever that was. 2 hours can be patient. 20 years can be patient. 2 years, 20 days. We don't know until the actual time is up. And it's God that actually sets that appointed time. And so he's the one who will deem us a patient person when it's all said and done. But we can't really say that we are until it's finished. So
you can read that. James 1:4 says, let patience have her perfect work.
Yes.
That you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And so that word let means you have to allow it. And that allowance is like, it's hard. The waiting is not fun. And so there's in the long suffering, however long that is, it's until we have proven to be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And so has to be this release and an allowance of what your expectation is. Like, I just need to just go through this. God, I don't know how long we're going to be in this, but while I'm in it, help me to get the lesson. What are you teaching me in this? And it also says to be patient, to endure without retaliation. Like, you can be in something and going through a really difficult time, but there cannot be a getting back for the time that you're going through. Or this, like, you owe me because maybe you put us in this situation and now we're at this place of long suffering. And so now I'm upset at you that we're here and we got a problem, but that's not long suffering. That's not going to get you to the other side of it.
It's not grace either.
The word long indicates that it's for an extended duration of time. It's indefinite. It's a patient duration characterized by a steady, measured, and loving response rather than a hasty vengeance. Because it's suffering. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And what makes it long is that you don't see the exit. Right? And so you're waiting in it. And it's kind of like, and you don't see the exit and you don't have a timeline. You ever see in The Chosen when Jesus would say, like, when is this going to happen? And the answer will be soon. And everybody be like, oh. Because how long is soon, right? And our soon is totally different than God's timeline. But then, so God's patience with us, it models the patience we're supposed to have with each other in a marriage. Suffering long, being in it for the long haul. But then it also has that in that sentence, it's suffer is long, there's and. Long suffering and is kind. That word and is a conjunction, which means the word before it is connected to the word after it. So suffers long and is kind. So are you kind in the suffering? What's it like to show kindness, to act benevolently, to treat others with goodness, to be mild and helpful? It's not enough to go through a hardship with determination to stay together. We in this to the end. We in this till the wheels fall off. But if you're in it till the wheels fall off and the environment is horrible, that's not a way you want to suffer. And so what's it like? What's it like to stick it out? What's it like to go through the suffering? Are you a good teammate? Are you kind? Are you understanding? Are you loving? Are you patient? Are you a good listener? Or are you angry and resentful and bitter? Don't ask your person. But I feel like that's a question that we need to be able to evaluate our own self. Now, Sonia, who is not remaining anonymous,
Well, we can clip that up.
is going to play this video. This dude cracks me up.
Have y'all seen him?
Yeah.
I love him. Okay? He is so funny to me. So, but every once in a while, lately he's been giving these really good, meaningful nuggets. I'm like, he decided I'm going to build up this audience and be funny, and then I'm going to hit him with some wisdom. So, play this.
Yeah, because anyone can be romantic when you got matching outfits and travel photos. But who's standing with you when you're crying in the ER at 3 a.m.? Okay, who's steady when your world isn't? Who looks at you in your worst moment, the broke, exhausted, ugly cry version of you, and still chooses you? Okay, that's the person you marry, not the one who makes the good days better. Plenty of people can do that. The one who makes the bad days bearable, because life guarantees the suffering. You better pick someone you actually want to sit in the fire with.
Man,
It's good.
that is so real. When you are in just a really difficult moment, to be able to like the person that you're in it with, especially if you're in covenant with each other. Like, I hate this moment, but I wouldn't want to go through it with anybody else. Man, like, we've had some horrible moments. And it's like, if I had to do it all over again to get us right here in this moment, if it meant I was doing it with him, I'd be like, okay, I can do it with him. Because in the worst moments, when I wasn't my best self, and in 24 years, he has seen plenty of moments where I was not my best self, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But do you love each other through it? Like, you know what? This is a moment, and it's not who you are, and what's happening in here that is occurring. Like, let's address that. Is there kindness in the long suffering? Is there healing in it? And is it like, you know what? You're not my enemy. This is my teammate. And so that is what you want in a companion who you are going to become one with. And to become one. Where you become in covenant.
Think of it this way, too. The more you've actually been through in the trenches like that, the more confident it gets built that we can go through anything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that, you begin to feel that over time. If I use a sports team analogy, it's the tough wins that make you feel like, because we've had situational circumstances in games, We know how to navigate through that now. So it gives us more confidence in the next opponent that we can beat that one too, right? And I'm talking about death in family. I'm talking about lack in finances. I'm talking about sick kids, sick parents, you name it. The more you stack that up, hopefully the more it's solidifying your walk with each other, saying there's nothing we can't face. And if taking it to the nth degree, if this comes up, we have the strength to go through it now because of the other things that we face together. I'm ready for it. I don't want it to happen, but if it does, because life is going to continue to happen, I know what we've done before. We can lean on that experience and say, this is what we're going to do if that does happen, worst case, right? You need love the most when times are the worst. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When it's all good, you probably don't even need love. Remember we talked about arranged marriages, right? Where they just come together and they do it out of duty initially. The families help them to grow together because they help choose the spouse for them. But then they learn to grow in love because they treat love as a command. It's easy when stuff is going good to love each other. It's easy to love your neighbor when things are going good. When your neighbor is terrible, when your family is terrible, especially the in-laws, when all that stuff is terrible, or when times are terrible in your life, that's when love means the most. That's when it's got to be applied the most. And that's the time then you got to be really intentional, right? So that's what we're talking about here, with suffering together.
When you were talking, it made me think about one time the boys were small, and we were just in this really difficult financial time. And so we had picked the kids up. We were together. We were out doing something in the day. But when we got home, the power had been shut off. So we normally went through the garage, but we couldn't open the garage door. There was a different key to the screen door, so we couldn't get in the front door. And it was like, oh my gosh, what are we getting ready to do? And so we go downstairs. It was still daylight. We go downstairs. The way our house was set up, you could get down to the basement. There was a back door. And so, the basement was finished. And so thankfully, somehow that door was unlocked. So we get in the house. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get the power back on because it's getting close to the end of the day. And we're also trying to pull together the finances to make it happen, right? And we're like, we need to feed the kids. So we went, and we got like this $8 pizza, and
Best tasting pizza ever.
we made it a party.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until our kids were adults that we were able to tell them all the things that were happening in that moment, because they think we're having a pizza party.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and to get upstairs, here's the other thing, to get upstairs from the basement, someone leaving the house had locked the door on the opposite side that would have led us all the way upstairs to get to the main part of the house. And so here's the thing. So you're living in this house that has wooded lot.
I was going to give further context.
There are deer that
This
come
was our
through.
dream house to that point.
There's a little stream in the backyard that the deer like to come and drink out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Golf course community.
And here we are. The power is out. Can't get upstairs. We're a mess. Oh, like, we'll just go lift the garage and get in. No, nothing was working. It was so crazy. And we just had to make a decision of, you know what? This is what happened. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. What are we going to do in this? And even if one of us did do it, tearing each other up.
Let me give you further context.
Yeah, go ahead.
So remember, I quit my corporate job where I had a salary enough for her to be a stay-at-home mom. Started a business. The business took off. I'm bringing home new clients, new checks every day. Said, baby, you got to be rich. No sooner than it took off, than it began in just months after that to tank. So we lived a dream and then a nightmare all in a short span of time. Where again, we were living in our dream home, a 3,000 square foot golf course community, all the stuff you think of this picturesque. That house here, I can't even imagine the price.
We're like, we're going to retire here.
Yes.
Our grandbabies are coming to visit us in this house.
And then the business tanks. And now I got to start seeing what else we're going to do. And now, again, money's short. Lights getting cut off. We got $8 for a pizza. How do we make this work where we can just have a good time together? See what I'm saying? It is literally the taking lemons and making lemonade for real. But no sugar. Just drinking it down.
Now, thank the Lord. I don't even know how it happened. It's the grace of God that we were able to get the power back on and be able to access the rest of the house. In God's kindness, and even in protecting our kids, where they're just saying, "Well, we just had a party in the basement, and so now we're going upstairs." And it was so funny in telling them like the truth of that matter, what was really going on. Because when you're going through, you don't tell your kids all the things. That's not helpful to stress their little bodies out. Hey guys, mom's gonna be really creative with dinner tonight, and let's see what she comes up with. Right? They don't need that type of stress, and so they also don't need the contention of two adults who are supposed to be protecting them, and they're watching them figure out what's going to happen because that doesn't translate.
Notice though too, at some point in time, obviously, that moment passed. Suffering long means it's gonna be over at some point. But we've made a covenant that forever is what we're gonna do anyway. So together, we're going to last through however long this trial period is, however tough it is. You have to tell yourself sometimes it won't always be this way. It's not going to last forever. And again, I think sometimes the test of your patience, the test of how long you can suffer, push you to that test so you can finally say that to each other. What if that was the end of the test where you finally said, I mentioned this before, we're not each other's enemy. We're in this together. This won't last forever. And then boom, now you're out of it. Which seemed like shortly after, within the same night, we were able to get the power back on, get things rolling in the next direction. And here we are years later. So I just say that to encourage you because some of you may be in something right now. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be health or whatever else it is. It will not always last. But you have to make up your mind that you will. Yeah.
Ephesians 4:32 says, "And be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you." That's the measure. Be kind. Be sensitive. Be aware. Be forgiving. Know that moments don't make the person. Right? Don't let a whole moment be the definition of who someone is. But when there's a moment, lovingly address it. And then Jesus said in John 13:35, "By this, you'll know you're my disciples if you have love for one another."
I think that's just when,
relationally
in ministry to church,
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And oftentimes it is taken that way. It's something how the person who is the closest to you has been through the most with you, knows you better than anyone else. They don't always get the loving side of you. They get the side of you that's annoyed, that's quick-tempered, that's aggravated, the side that you wouldn't allow anybody else to see. Like if you were having a really bad moment and somebody walked in the house, you'd be like, I actually had that happen once. I was talking to somebody and they didn't realize that it was a FaceTime. And it was wild to hear the, "Oh, hi." And I was too late. But you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, it's like, in the private moments, and it's nobody here. Okay. And it was funny, like, later on we laughed about it because it was like, got him. No, but it's one of those, but those moments can't make us. And it's also being mindful of, just because you're here and you're permanent doesn't mean I get to give you the worst. Thankfully, the person is in it. They'll take those moments and lovingly walk you through it. But at some point in time, if that's a pattern of behavior, pattern needs to be addressed because now it's just abusive. Okay? So, kindness is not just action, but it's a posture of the heart that reflects Christ. if he looked at your heart, what's your heart posture like towards other people? What if he examined our hearts? And I know there's so much happening here that he's working in and out of us. But the majority of it, yeah, there are things like, okay, this needs healing and that needs healing. But when it came down, it's like, you know what? There's kindness there. And I think that's something that we should pray for. Help me be kind. So love doesn't envy. It's not jealous. It's not heated with rivalry. James 3:16 says, for where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there. Are you for the house? Are you jealous of something? Are you jealous of a job? Are you envious of something that somebody has? And when I looked at this, I was like, well, how does that creep in? You could be envious of the other person's job. You could be envious.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Or you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead and yeah.
So, Tim is in full-time ministry, and I am an independent contractor, and I work full-time. Irony of that is, technically, Tim would rather be the one who is a contractor.
Remember, one of the idols I had to be released from was the corporate title, position, and money, right?
And I would rather be in full-time ministry. And so I'm watching him go minister to people, and he's being all like refreshed, and he's like, oh, I just had this moment, and we just had like this breakthrough moment, and I saw the guys, and the lights came on, and it was just this, and I'm like,
rolling eyes.
and there's this tension of being like, oh, that's great, I'm so happy the Lord moved, and shut up. So what? Because I was jealous. I was jealous of his ability to go and do, and I feel chained to a desk. Now, I like what I do, but it's not ultimately what I'm called to do. It funds, it like finances what I'm called to do. And so there's this tension in this balance that we're in, trying to find this rhythm of working in ministry. And part of doing the ministries that we do, it's almost so like I could get my fix. I'm jealous. Or was. I would rather be serving his house. I would rather be ministering to his people. I would rather be doing that. But in this season, that's not what the Lord called me to. And so I was surprised when about 2 or 3 months ago, it creeped up and I was like, oh, snap. You're jealous.
So what do we do? We have to have this conversation. We have to talk honestly about it, and then develop our escape plan from this scenario that's not comfortable for both of us, right? Part of the homework from last week was having communication there, right? So having an honest conversation about this. What is our plan for the next year or two to move her out of where she is into a more full-time role, right? Ironically enough, even though I'm full-time, I'm not making the money she's making. Now it's almost like things have flipped, where I had the full-time corporate job that allowed her to be a stay-at-home mom. Then when ministry came into play, it was a sacrifice for our family, where she worked more in the office. I worked more still evangelizing, but ain't no money in most ministries. Y'all know that, right? You don't do it for the money, for the most part. So what am I doing then in creating some things that can create more income for us? And doing it to the point where she knows it and they know it, that I'm working hard to try to make this transition for us so that eventually she doesn't have to do the corporate thing anymore. All right? Having those plans together, working that plan every day so that we understand what the time commitment is needed for each other in what we're doing to make the whole idea of making ends meet is not just about money. It's making this time work the way it's supposed to. So having that conversation is very important. You have to keep the communication open just as much as you did when you were dating. When you're talking all that, you had game then and he was saying all the sweet things then. That level of conversation still has to go now into in-depth conversations about your plans for your future. So that's where we are.
So with that, it leads into vaunteth not, or boast itself. Do not boast, or doesn't brag or parade itself, or doesn't show off. In that moment, of me being challenged with envy and wanting to do what he's doing, he could have very easily been like, oh, but look what the Lord did with me today. And I got to go and minister to all these people, and I'm doing the Lord's work. You know, you're doing the Lord's work too. But what I'm doing, you know, you're doing the Lord's work by like helping to fund this, and so I could go do and that boastful, but God is using me. Do you know what I'm saying? And it can slip in easy. And even for example, I told you that I was stay-at-home mom, and I'll read this example. Give some names that aren't real. It says, James and Alyssa have been married for 5 years. At a family gathering, Alyssa shares how she's been working hard to manage their home and raise their young children. Instead of affirming her, James interrupts and says, well, if it weren't for me, none of this would even be possible. I'm the one with the good job paying for everything. James just got hit. Just playing. I make my own self laugh. I felt TJ's judgment. He's like, you're not funny. Yes, I am. He says it half jokingly, but in a way that makes himself look like the hero of the marriage while minimizing her contributions. So what are some negative effects from that besides James' busted lip? I'm sorry. Listen, I've never hit my husband. I do not promote violence. I'm just sorry. That just made me laugh. Maybe too much. Okay. So what are some ways? Like, what is that doing? How is that eroding their marriage? No, that's good. It doesn't make her feel secure. Resentment.
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody else?
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
Yep.
Anybody else? It also breaks her trust and vulnerability. Like, I just made this announcement in front of everybody, feeling good about the contribution to, you know, my Cubs, and he just went and completely diminished it. And so it changes her vulnerability in being able to share her heart. So is your spouse or significant other's heart safe? Are you affirming in what they do in the contribution to the household? Because even in half joking, like, it might have been like, ha, 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 funny. But in that moment, what he did, he made her feel small.
Have you seen? So I like that was more of a story in context outside of the church. Have you seen scenarios in the church where there's jealousy in spousal relationships? I'm gonna give you an example. Just again, hypothetical. He's a probably more quiet individual. She's more outspoken. She may be up on the platform, either singing or ministering or whatever else. And there's a feeling within him as if I should be leading us that way, and I'm not. So there's some jealousy there. Have you ever seen scenarios like this? But I'm saying it for an example to the group today, because that stuff happens where a husband wants to actually be more vocal, and for whatever reason is not, but the wife is allowed to be. So any of these things can creep in to cause jealousy. I want you to really check your hearts in this to see where perhaps some of that is trying to have a problem with your relationship, and have an honest conversation about it. Knowing these things, again, the prayer at the beginning was the inventory can be taken. What's in there? What's not in there? What needs to be there? What's got to go? Where do we need to clean house? Where do we need to bring in more things to help us solidify and strengthen this relationship?
And part of the conversations that should be held outside of here is with the disclaimer of, I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to make this better. Because if you don't address the things,
Yes.
then the enemy will come in, and he'll come in real slick with what was supposed to be a funny comment. And then what happens is bitterness and resentment grows. And you might not say anything that time. And you let it slide, and you kind of laugh a little bit. And then something else happens. And you've heard the saying, I'm sure, the straw that broke the camel's back, because a camel can bear heavy loads. Then there'll be just one little thing, and the next one small offense that leads to this big explosion. And it's like, where did that come from? But it's this word vomit of just history of stuff that has happened, because when the enemy came in and attacked, and it was that small thing, it wasn't addressed. Now, because there could be one or two things happening. Yeah, there's a wound in her, and he picked that, right? There's also a wound in him that he would attack her like that and not cover and protect her. So even being able to go and say, hey, I know you were playing earlier, but when you said that actually hurt my feelings. I know you didn't mean to, or I don't think you would. Even given the disclaimer of, I don't think you would mean to hurt me, but this is what happened and this is how it made me feel. But being able to hear that, receive it, and not respond in a way that is like, well, that's on you. I wouldn't do that to you, or diminish how the other person feels.
Be mindful too. Some of these thoughts and scenarios won't apply to you, and that's okay. So it's good to see the things that you're not even close to having an issue with, but still have a discussion. I'm glad that we've not had that issue, but at least let's view it from afar so that it can never become an issue for us, right? So some things hopefully are laughable things. I cannot believe people actually do that. Great. I hope you can laugh those off. But in viewing things that are there, at least you know what you do deal with and what you don't. And now you can proceed now with confidence. Every step, every year of your relationship could be one with confidence. I know where we're going because we maintain this. Like we do this on the record. So this is the point of these talks.
On the flip side, it could also be where, I know I've used to stay at home mom scenario, father working out of the house. I know that's not everybody's role, but he has a hard day at work and he comes home and he shares. This would be vice versa, but as they're sharing, it's like, when you think your day was hard, I've been in the house with these kids. Yeah. They've been running around hollering. They wouldn't take a nap. They didn't listen. I cleaned up and they messed up, and I cleaned up and they messed up again, and I got dinner going, and the attack of your day, you unleash it on the person who's just like, man, today is hard. So then home is not safe. Home is not a safe haven to be able to share. So what are some other things could that breed from the husband's perspective?
Maybe he doesn't feel as involved with the kids that way. That maybe he feels left out, that he didn't get to share in those experiences.
That's good.
Had one person tell me that they came in from a road trip, and the wife said, "Let me introduce you to some people you don't know." It's talking about the kids. Isn't that crazy?
Oof.
Right?
Oof.
Is it worth being gone that long? Now I know I got caught up in the whole, but I got to provide for them. And I really think that's why God had me go into a full-time ministry where I had to raise my own salary. Took me 1.5 years to do that. I don't know how we survived 1.5 years with me having zero coming in. But what God showed was that he had us the whole time. The provider is really him. Am I providing in other ways? It wasn't by money, so how else am I providing? Because if we break down the word provide, it's just really looking out beforehand on what the family needs. That was during the time of COVID. So guess who was leading us in prayer in our living room during the time of COVID, right? My kids saw me on my face crying out to God for what we needed during that time. They need to see it. I promise you they need to see it. I don't care how little they are. They need to see you on your face crying out to God. That's another way that you can make provision for the house. Yeah.
So on that note, something that I even realized during that time, because we were as a corporate church, every day at noon, we were having prayer. And so what we would do is a lot of our pastors and leaders would be on the platform here, and they would be praying, and we would mute the TV and we would be praying in our house. Now we knew every day, Monday through Friday, is prayer time. That's what's happening. And I would say, hey guys, come on, it's time for prayer. Let's go, and give them like a 10-minute, let's come downstairs together. And they would be dragging their feet. I was like, what in the world? What I noticed was that when Tim said it, not yelling, not like, hey, get down here. But he was like, hey, guys, come downstairs. We're getting ready to have prayer. It was as if his rightful place as the authority of our house, the head of our household, that spiritually it kicked in and they came every time right away. I was like, now they came when I called, but when he said it and just said, let's go, it was like this immediate response. The order that God has with the husband leading his household. Mm-hmm. And that covering of this is the tone of our house. It was fascinating to me to watch. It took me a few months to realize what is going on. And so finally I said to him, I said, you know what I noticed? And I told him. And so we started watching it and he was like,
I didn't even notice till she mentioned that. And
it was a beautiful picture to see God's order and the effect that the husband has on the house spiritually. Husband, lead your wife. Lead them. They'll follow. That's what we're called to do. Now, he's also not a dictator, right? So that's another thing. It's how you lead. It was a gentle call, but then to come together and everybody leave refreshed to finish the rest of the day, it made a difference. But there could also be from when you have two people working in the house, working outside the home, that weight of, especially when you have kids, trying to find your rhythm in that. How are we doing this? How are we juggling it? What does this look like as a team for us to do this successfully so that we both had a long day at work, right? Regardless of what is, work took up our day where most of our time was spent to something or someone else that wasn't necessarily for our home, like an immediate result. Are we coming in the house to figure out how can we divide and conquer so that at the end of the day, we both get to.
Well, don't forget too the corporate skill that you developed, or even if you've been a part of team sports, those skills there. You have to understand that delegating is part of leadership, right? So trash is whose responsibility, right? Getting kids to be able to do laundry. I'm saying practical stuff here, ways to help them manage the house better. I even corporately, I was the type of manager where I'm not going to hover over you. I'm just going to give you a delegated responsibility, and there's an expectation that you should get that done because that is what you've been given. Same thing within the household is learning how to delegate responsibility so that we can win. I say we as in the whole household, right? And so I'm playing team captain, and I'll do this piece, and I need you all to do that. You got this one, you got that. And I know they used to say I would exaggerate how quickly we could get it done. Because I'd say if we get it concentrated 20 minutes, we can get this all finished. Now I turned it more into an hour probably or more. I'm shaking his head. But still, somebody's got to lead the charge. I'm saying this stuff in case you haven't already. The skills you've used in the world, skills you used in sports, you have it within you to be able to manage what you have better within the household so that the relationships can be managed.
So even with that, you have to be mindful not to give our best self to the world and then give sloppy leftovers to our family. And at the end of the day, when it feels chaotic, it can be easy to come in like, hey, I'm ready to tap out, right? The day has been long. And I do think there is grace when he knows or I know the day has been long and it's been a difficult day. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more slack today. You go catch your breath, right? That's a part of the teamwork. What do we need to do? How do we need to adjust to make the team win? Because if I'm the only one relaxing and he's in there working hard, he never gets to relax, then did the team win? And sometimes it's even that, or oftentimes it's, you know what? I'm tired, you're tired, it's been a long day. Let's just pump it out, let's grind it out, and let's get it all done, divide and conquer. This is how we're going to do the evening so that you and I can have time to deflate together. Or even if it's go do something separate so you can read, but being mindful of the person you're in covenant.
She would be so much better about end of the day tiredness, but let's prepare for the next day than I was. Especially like Saturday night to Sunday morning. She's like, no, let me get clothes and stuff out so the Sunday morning goes smooth. I'm like, I'm tired. We'll just get that in the morning. Now, I've adjusted some, but this is how you can play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses here to see how you can balance it and make it better. And for sure, the next morning on Sunday, something went haywire where time was short. And because the preparation of the night before, it made Sunday morning go better, right? Can you play off each other like that? Can you use your strengths? Like, can you communicate this type of stuff so you can have this level of success? Sometimes you find out where you are through error, right? But you find out what works over time because you're having that communication together. Yeah, is this good?
Yeah.